Chapter 8 is called Old Ghosts, partly because it's Halloween, but also because the overall theme of the chapter is the past and how it interacts with the present. People confronting their past catching up with them, and consequences of people's actions are all recurring ideas in Chapter 8. Sally wishes to forget the dirty work part of her job, but glorifies the stuff she likes about it, such as her graphic pinup book and her old superhero costume. She is seen residing in Nepenthes Gardens. Nepenthes is described in the Odyssey as a drug that banishes grief or trouble from the mind. Basically, it makes you forget the past. She also uses the Nostalgia brand perfume, which is seen on page 1, panel 2. Hollis is as equally obsessed with the past. His room is filled with owl memorabilia, and he keeps a trophy-like statue of himself on his desk, pictured on the chapter's introductory page. Hollis is so stuck in the past that when he's murdered at the end, he has a flashback to his old crime-fighting days. So Sally spends her time at the Nepenthes Gardens forgetting her previous occupation, and Hollis sits in his house surrounded by it and celebrating it, both occupying their present with thoughts and feelings from the past. Lori and Dan getting together was sparked by Sally and Hollis's sentimental connection from the past during their phone call starting on page 1. Hollis's actions get confused for the new Night Owl's vigilante activity, and he gets murdered for it, with his own statue, by some impulsive top-knots. Faced with death, Hollis experiences a flashback of him fighting in his suit. This is an instance of the past fusing with the future, and also the consequences of your own actions as well as others rising up and coming to haunt you. The chapter begins and ends with Hollis, thus emphasizing the meaning of his death. A large part of Chapter 8 is breaking Rorschach out of prison. While Rorschach's mask is off, he holds an expressionless stare even through emotional events. Partly because the kind of person he is depends if his mask is on or off, and also because it shows how traumatic events in the past can affect a person throughout time, making Rorschach numb to his surroundings. In the beginning of Chapter 8, the phone call solidifies the connection between Lori and Dan and ties it to the past. The alien situation is brought up through the woman's sketch and through an illusion shown on page 3, panel 3, The Day the Earth Stood Still, a movie where aliens warn against humanity destroying itself. Dr. Manhattan seems to be that alien, or God. Another prominent illusion is Lori calling Dr. Manhattan a deus ex machina. This straight up defines John as the solution to everyone's problem. John intervenes in many situations, including stopping Lori from using the Nostalgia perfume. It gets complicated because sometimes he doesn't intervene on other morally conflicting situations, which brings up the concept of religion, how God could exist and maybe not care about us, or how God is omniscient and lets bad things happen but still controls the outcome in the end. This brings Chapter 12 to mind. John interrupts Lori from using the perfume on page 22, panels 6 through 9, which signifies the end of looking to the past, and then Lori turns around and sees the future, which is Dr. Manhattan. The quotation after Hollis's death, signifying the end of Chapter 8, reads, "On Halloween, the old ghosts come about us, and they speak to some, but to others they are dumb." This reiterates instances in the chapter, such as Hollis's past coming back to him on Halloween, and also references the talk between John and Lori, which took place abruptly and kept Dan out of the loop.